Hey everyone, welcome to today's A360. My name is Brewster Knowlton, and today we're going to be answering the question, what is an enterprise data strategy? There's a great website called Data Economy that has a definition of an enterprise data strategy that I love. They define it as a comprehensive and actionable foundation for an organization's ability to harness and leverage data. There are a couple of words in that definition that stick out to me. The first is comprehensive. If we're talking about building a data strategy for the entire organization, an enterprise data strategy, we can't just focus on one or two areas. We can't just focus on lending and marketing or operations alone or marketing and operations. We have to focus on the entire organization. So this data strategy has to be comprehensive. The other important word in that definition is actionable. The data strategy has to be actionable. It can't just be this binder on the shelf type strategy where it's a big book, there's a lot of words, there's a lot of pages, but it's not really saying much. A data strategy has to be actionable. It has to address the technical aspects. It has to address the cultural aspects. It has to tell you how you're going to go from point A to point B, not just in theory, but in practice. You have the strategy, but how do you execute on that strategy? And having an actionable foundation built into this data strategy is absolutely critical. Building an enterprise data strategy, a data strategy that's going to help you evolve from a not particularly data-driven credit union to one that is, can be a pretty intimidating task. So here are a few things to start with that might get the ball rolling. First, take a data inventory. Go through all of the different applications you have, all of the different databases, start asking people if they have access databases or important Excel spreadsheets that they're keeping on their own computer. Start by getting an inventory of all those data sources that are out there. After you build this data inventory, I'd recommend building a report inventory. Very similar to the data inventory, except instead of identifying all of the data sources, you want to identify all of the reports, specifically the recurring ones. This is important because it helps you identify where the majority of your reporting efforts are being focused within the organization. And it also helps you understand what type of return you might be able to get early on by automating some of these reports. ROI in analytics can be a tricky thing to calculate sometimes, but for organizations that are just starting their data analytics journey, automating recurring reports and manual processes that take a significant amount of time are great ways to generate some FTE savings up front and start to show the value of analytics. There are quite a few other key concepts that have to go into your data strategy, most of which we'll talk about in later podcasts. But the last that I want to talk about today is the importance of developing a data dictionary. And I've addressed this a number of times in previous podcasts, and my repetition just emphasizes the importance of it. You have to define key terms like member, service, product, household, or any other key term that's critical to your business and for the analytics that might be generated off of that data. Because you're already going through analyzing your organization's data needs, wants, current challenges, and getting that picture of where you are and where you want to be, building in some definitions and recommendations for those definitions is advised because it starts to get people to understand the importance and the impact that their decision making on these key definitions will have going forward. In summary, an enterprise data strategy is, and I'll repeat this definition from earlier, it's a comprehensive and actionable foundation for an organization's ability to harness and leverage data. It has to be comprehensive in that it looks at the entire organization, not just one or two specific departments, and it has to be actionable. Instead of just addressing these high-level conceptual, theoretical principles of data and analytics, it has to address the technical aspects. It has to address the cultural impacts, which we're going to talk about later on. It has to address KPIs, which we've discussed before, and actually in our next podcast, we're going to talk about ensuring you have the right KPIs. We brought up data governance, talking about key definitions. An enterprise data strategy should become your blueprint from going from where you are today as an organization with data to becoming a data-driven organization. Thanks for tuning in to today's A360.